So I'm on my way to collect my car. So it's about 10 in the morning, central London. So this has been my routine for my EV. Since I don't have a charger at home, I have to rely on public chargers. It's now my coffee break, and I'm literally using my coffee break not for coffee, but to actually get my car, unplug it just when it's fully charged up, and then I'm gonna transfer it to a parking space, hopefully near the hospital. So we're coming up to where I charge my car. Okay. Disconnect vehicle. There you go. Freezing cold today. And then I've got about, if I use comfort mode, 124 miles, Eco Pro 141 miles, and 142 miles. Okay, I'm gonna then transfer to a parking space. If it's fully charged up and it's winter like today, and if we use like the heating and like heated seats and stuff like that, I can squeeze in about 90 to about 95 miles on one full charge. But if for some reason you decide you do want to do that one and squeeze in every mile that you want to and just turn off like the heating, I can squeeze in about 130, 120, 130, maybe even 140 miles on this one if I'm careful. So yeah, very happy camper. I spent about £3 maybe on that public charger. So that's not too bad at all. The issue right now is for me to look for some parking space because I can't find any. Okay, and I should be heading back to work. So that's how I charge my car every day since I don't have a charger at home. I rely heavily and solely on public chargers. It's not too bad if I'm honest. My wife and I decided to switch to an EV, to an electric car. We had a couple of options. We couldn't afford a brand new car, a brand new EV, because it's just too damn expensive. Overview: my wife and I, we work in London. We're both nurses. We do 12-hour shifts for the most part, but we live in Kent. So it's about an 80 mile round trip journey back and forth. We used to take the train, but we were hemorrhaging money like crazy. It was costing us at about just over £600 a month each. Such a strange setup, because my wife and I were originally from the Philippines, and we're based in the UK right now. And in the Philippines, it was definitely a lot cheaper to take public transport than actually drive. In the UK, for some reason, it's actually cheaper to own a car than to actually take the train. For the past year, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, he introduced Congestion Charge to be extended until 10 p.m. It used to be 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Right now, it's been changed to 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and it's been changed to 7 days a week instead of just Monday to Friday. My wife and I decided to just drive because it was going to be a lot more cost-effective for us to drive from London, from Kent to London. So we were driving with our Toyota Avensis, but it was taking us about almost 2 hours just one way, because we couldn't afford to pass by the congestion zone in London because it was £15 a day. £15. So if we had to go through congestion zone, so we'd have to pay £15 with that Toyota. If we if we had to go the other way around just to, avoid a congestion zone, it would take us about half an hour, longer, just to get to work, which is about an hour additional every day. So my wife and I, literally, we were forced to look into EVs. From getting an EV was we didn't have a driveway in Kent, and I couldn't, charge my car at home. So I really thought it's not going to work. But because of the whole journey thing to London to Kent, we were forced to look into buying an EV. We did a research. We looked at like the apps. We watched videos on YouTube. I looked at all the public charging spots in London and in Kent, and we decided it might just work. We bought a BMW i3. This car is very expensive, brand new. But on the used market, it's actually pretty reasonable. Still more expensive than a normal combustion engine car, but it's when you look at it when EV standards, it's actually pretty reasonable. So we bought this one. This is a 2017, 20,000 miles on the clock. We bought this at a very reasonable price. And so we got the car. Long story with the car, we actually collected the car up in north in Scunthorpe. So we collected the car. We drove all the way up there in Scunthorpe. We left the Toyota, signed the paperwork, and then we got into this BMW i3 and we drove all the way back to Kent. We did 2 stops on our way back in here. We did rapid chargers. One was Ecotricity, one was Ionity. And yeah, we survived. That was our first test of actually owning a full EV. So it's actually not too bad. The public and charging infrastructure here in the UK is actually not too bad. And so far we've been living with this for about a month. I don't get to charge at home because I don't have a driveway. But just about 5 minutes away in one of the McDonald's, there's an InstaVault. If I want to save a little bit of money, there's a Polar public charger in Maidstone, and that's about 15 minutes away from where we live. When I do work, what happens is I drop off my wife at work in central London, and then I drive to my place of work, and then there's a couple of public chargers just near my workplace. I charge my car for about 4 hours, and that's about 100%. I go when I'm a nurse, so when I go for my lunch break, I literally just get my car, unplug it, transfer it to a parking space, and then I go back to work and finish my lunch. So we charge mainly at work. It's not too bad. We have been saving a lot of money. We do 80 miles journey round trip every day. We work roughly about 4 days a week, sometimes 5, but mostly 4 days a week. And so far, in the first month that we've owned a car, including our journey in Scunthorpe to collect the car and back here in Kent, we have spent £70. Just £70. I used to spend about £300 on petrol driving back and forth to London. £70 is just over 1 full tank of petrol, which was what the amount I was paying with my Toyota Avensis. So far, my wife and I are happy campers.